Well, thanks very much indeed. Welcome to the show. I am Jim Ferguson, and I've got a good guest, a good friend of mine. His name is Mika Vauhkala, all the way from Finland. Mika, it's great to see you again. You're looking well. How are you?
Good. Summer coming and sun is shining outside, so it feels like you're waking up again. Good to see you
Yeah,
again. We were talking a few months back, first time.
we were,
Oh,
and it was a very, very interesting, very good interview. We're going to get a little bit of an update, but I have to say, I'm a summer child too. I like the sunshine. I'm
well,
always glad to see the back of winter. Um, But Finland's a good place. Now, I haven't been to Finland, I've got to say. It's but one of the things that I would like to do is go and visit there, maybe come and see you at some point. And I might be doing that sooner than you think because you're going through a bit of a battle, a bit of a legal battle. But before we actually get into that, just very briefly remind everybody what led to that. What caused that to happen, Mika?
yeah. So as you see on the back of me is this case Covidpass battle for basic human rights, and Covidpass was in 50 countries during COVID times and in Finland as well. And I was personally kicked out from maybe 10 places and then spots occasions. And I was just seeing that our freedom, my freedom, and freedom of others was ripped off. We were taken in the middle of the city. In that you wake up in your apartment and you go to the pub, or you go to just to pick up food, and they say you cannot stay inside, and all these kind of things happening. And then I was thinking that what can I do in the bigger picture? And the tipping point or the trigger was when I was going 9 a.m. in the morning, 10th of December 21, with my friend to have just croissant and cafe, nothing else, just breakfast at Fazer Cafe, Fazer, famous Finnish brand. Initially from Switzerland, the family, and they are one of the wealthiest families in Finland. And they had this cafe chain, and they were asking the COVID pass, and I didn't have it, and my friend didn't have it, and I had a friendly argument with the person who was asking, and then I asked the manager to come, and she said you must have it, and otherwise we cannot sell you, we cannot serve you. And I was already 5 meters in the cafe, and then we were, told her to get out of here, and I got the business card, and I told this manager that I will not leave it here. And then I started talking with the lawyer, and we were asking that they pay for discrimination and other stuff, and the government also at the same time, and they refused everything. And then I had to take it to the court, to the district court of Finland, and now it's been in district court. Also, the Court of Appeal has made a ruling. Dr. Asim Malhotra from UK was here with me a few days and as a expert witness in this case, and many other prominent people. Hanna Nohynek was a witness, and she is a chairman of lady, sorry, of SAGE. It's a uh, advisory group on immunization under WHO in the whole world, like a top person in giving advice on vaccines in the world, so to say. Even though she's not in the public that much worldwide, in Finland she is. Um, so all that happened, and they've been ruling. I lost the case, the two first courts here in the capital, and now I have filed this case at the Supreme Court of Finland in Helsinki in January, and now they have to make a choice. Do they give us a chance to handle the case here in Finland? Maybe it would take 1-2 years until the hearing would be, or do they dismiss it, and then I have to file it very soon to the European Human Rights Court in France, Strasbourg, and I have a French attorney ready for that if that happens. So that's in a nutshell what's going on now. And only case in Finland, only case in Scandinavia, Nordic countries, Europe, in the world, the high government body and the big company sued for COVID pass. And I'm doing this for the future. They may do this vaccine pass again. And if you go to the EU Commission website or WHO website, they have a pre-agreement to use the COVID pass in around 200 countries worldwide if there is a next epidemic, pandemic, whatever they call it. So we are fighting eye to eye against the globalist agenda to, I would call, enslave the humanity with medication and vaccines.
And this is important because, as you say, they may try and do it again. They may very well try. I mean, there's been lots of different, I guess, alerts when it comes to the World Health Organization in particular, who is led by a man who calls himself Dr. Tedros, but he's not a medical doctor, but he is a former terrorist with the People's Tigray Liberation Front, which is a proscribed terrorist organization. I wonder what on earth Bill Gates was thinking of by appointing somebody like that to run the World Health Organization. There's a lot of question marks about the WHO. There's a lot of question marks about the globalist movement, and they are very, very focused on not having that first domino topple, because when that happens, there could be solicitors and legal cases all over the place. And this isn't just a personal fight for you. You're doing this on behalf of not just the people in Finland, but the people in Europe, the people in Canada, the people in the UK, the people in the United States, all over the world. Because if this can happen to you by Pfizer, Fazer, I don't know if I'm pronouncing, how do you say, is it, it's not Pfizer as in the Moderna type thing?
It's Fazer.
Fazer.
Correct.
I'll need to practice my Finnish. Your English is better than my Finnish.
It's not even it's a Swiss word. I think it's a Swiss-German last name initially, so it's not. But we call it Finnish, yeah.
Well, I mean, they're a wealthy family. They've got a chain of cafes all over that region and in Switzerland. It's a little bit unfair. They've got all the money in the world, and you're still standing up. Do you know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of David and Goliath. It does. And I suppose when you think about the money that they have and the lawyers they can afford, it is a bit like David and Goliath, but we all know how that turned out. David won. He slew the giant. And yes. I would encourage everybody that's listening to this right now to get behind you. You actually, you're a businessman. You're a small to medium-sized businessman. But I mean, these things cost money. And people might say, well, why would I donate to somebody that I don't even know, or somebody in Finland? I'm in France, or I'm in Germany. Well, here's the thing. If they get away with doing this in Finland, who's to say they might not do it in their country, in another country? And I think what you're doing, you're setting a principle here that people, freedom fighters, people that are patriotic and love their countries and freedom, are standing up to be counted and fighting the system. And I think it takes a lot of courage on your part and on the part of other people that do that. But you've got a GoFundMe. I think, is it GoFundMe? You've got a website. Where can people go to donate to this?
Yeah, so people outside Finland, I mean, if you are based outside Finland, so you can go givesendgo.com/case Covidpass. So there you can donate €5, €10, 100, 500, whatever you wish. And now I have here invoices from the Finnish government, cabinet, and Fazer Cafe, almost. Fazer Cafe, €17,000, and the Finnish government, €94,000. They have been demanding me to pay the government that pay now, and last week Fazer the cafe, and 2 weeks ago the government informed me that they will now wait until the ruling of the Supreme Court, and if the ruling is in their favor and against the freedom and against me and my team, then they are ready. I have this in written form. They will put it to the confiscation office and come to after my income or so by force. And think about how evil is that. I was fully healthy. I had nothing, no proof of anything anyone has. I had any sickness, any medication, anything wrong with me. And they didn't sell me the coffee and the croissant just to get the breakfast. And the government knew that the vaccine is not stopping the transmission, and they admitted in the court, and they knew it can cause harm by December 21. And they knew that the PCR test is not made for diagnosis. And why should I pay 200, 100 euro for stick up my nose test just to have my human rights working? And so there are many other things behind this, but and it's very, very corrupt. And even the Fazer cafe, they admitted in the court that they broke the COVID law itself. In Finland, there was piece of the law was that if you are a cafe or restaurant and you are having this Covidpass, you have to have this plan presented openly available in the cafe on the spot for the customers to see how they have prepared. They didn't have it, and the manager Tiina Tuominen in the court said that she couldn't even find it later. They were just asking, do you have the pass or not? Whatever. But still, the corrupt judges have given her the free pass. And I want to say this about the main judge of the district court, who is the chairman, Markku Saarikoski. He was appointed by the Finnish Ministry of Work and Employment to work as a consolidator, or kind of like a solving problems in the state, in the government, as a part-time job. In 21 autumn time, in 21 summertime, our Prime Minister Sanna Marin, at the time, who is working now for Tony Blair, said that this same ministry was the key player planning the Covidpass in Finland. That it has been the key player. In mainstream news, it was said. This judge, he was not planning the Covidpass, but he was employed and paid by working under the same government office, and then he is judging the case where the government is taken to the court. More than that, we found out by a person who is following us. I will not say her or his name here, but from here in Finland, that a tip that this Markku Saarikoski, the judge, had not made a report about his side job and the conflict of interest potential of that, this public register that they should do. So then my team, my legal team, pointed this out to the court, and he admitted for 2 years he had not reported that thing. And after I told him, you are wrong, why are you doing this? Then he made it right. But then the other judges above him, they just gave it the free pass, that it doesn't really matter here, and blah, blah, blah. All these kind of things. So it's very hard battle. And and now this yeah.
It sounds like there is a lot of lawfare being
Yes.
waged against you.
Yes.
And we've seen that happening to Donald Trump in
Yes.
the previous years. They've tried it again, although he's absolutely dismantling with the aid of Elon Musk and the Doge team. They are ripping apart the deep state in America, much to the annoyance of the corrupt Democrats, who are probably be making an absolute fortune involved. I mean, there's breaking scandals practically every week now with all of that. But even just for ordinary people to get behind this and give you a little bit of support, even if it's only €1 or €5 or £5 or $5, collectively, it wouldn't take that much to give you that war chest that you need to fight this battle. Remember, it's not just about you, Mika, it's about everybody that's involved, because if they do declare another pandemic, it's going to be international, it's going to be global again. And when you've got these kind of rulings and these kind of, I would almost say, a degree of corruption involved with the judiciary here. I mean, why are they letting people that had a conflict of interest away with it? Well, because they're all part and parcel of the same thing. They're probably globalists, and they're probably paid, and they're probably getting backhanders. Now, it's me that's saying that, not you, but I'm entitled to my opinion, the same as everybody else. And what it sounds like, Mika, to me is they're desperate to stop you, because if you win your case, that's going to blow the door open to
It's
everybody
gonna
else.
blow
So
everything up. It will be like a nuclear bomb
correct.
for freedom,
Correct.
because
Yeah.
then everybody will know that they were misled, they were deceived, they were screwed, they
Yeah.
were lied on, and everything was based on the lie. Even though judicially, legally, this battle is me getting the Fazer Cafe in December 21. But as an example, it will blow the window open in Europe, in Finland, around the world.
It will, and I think that's why they're so desperate to stop you. That's why they're throwing all these things like confiscation orders at you, and if you lose, you're going to pay. This is all intimidation. This is all fear. This is all the kind of things. But they're doing it to the wrong person, because you're a pretty brave guy. I've actually met you personally several times. I think in the Netherlands and then again in Geneva, Switzerland.
Only once
And
we
was it only
met
once
in
we met?
Geneva, Switzerland. Yes,
Was it
not the
Geneva? It
Covidpass.
was Geneva. That's right. You made such an impression. I thought I'd met you twice there, Mika.
I don't know. I don't know,
Ah, must be.
Fergie. I don't know.
Well, the thing is, we were having a laugh before we went to record about the pronunciation of your last name, and of course, me being a Scottish Highlander doesn't quite speak the Finnish slang so well, but it's all good. But here's the thing, you're taking that battle to court. Now you've got a French attorney that's been appointed.
Yes.
What are they sort of thinking about this at the moment? And if you can discuss that part of it, if not, it's perfectly all right. I understand there might be things that you wouldn't want to necessarily reveal or to play your hand, knowing that they might see this. So, what can you tell us though that's not going to affect the case or not going to affect your own point of view?
Yeah, I can say this. So her name is Virginie de Araujo Reccia. This is the best I can pronounce it. So she's a French attorney for 20 years of Paris Bar Association, and she didn't take the COVID vaccine. She didn't have the COVID pass, and she's been fighting for freedom. Being vocal about many things, not only the COVID stuff. And she's been successful. Even now, she has 2 cases accepted, which are filed by her in at the European Human Rights Court. They are not, I think, COVID related, but because the European Human Rights Court only accepts 1 out of 200. So it's a 0.5% mathematical odds that if you file a case that they will receive. But she's French, she lives in France, and the court is in France if needed. And now in Geneva, actually, I was talking with Astrid Stuckelberger, who has been writing this PCR test statement to the Finnish court, and she gave me the details, the contact with the Virginie, and so at the Case Covidpass YouTube channel, there is a 1-hour interview where I'm with her, and Jim, we could maybe see if she could come to be your guest sometime here. Would be nice.
Yeah,
Just
I'd
an
be
idea.
happy to interview anybody that's helping you, whether they're professional witnesses, whether they're part of your legal team, because I think people need to know about this. What
Yes.
happened to you was completely unjustified. Now, even more so now, when we look back to the situation with these vaccines, they certainly weren't effective, and they certainly weren't safe. So the whole narrative about safe and effective and wearing masks was completely ridiculous.
Yes.
And there are many top virologists, epidemiologists, doctors, experts that are saying that and have been saying it actually for a long time. So
Yes.
this was actually about control. This was about controlling people, making people submit to the system, using fear, bullying, and intimidation. But you
Yes.
weren't having it. You stood your ground. And I've got to say, I really do applaud you for that. It takes a lot of courage to fight back against overwhelming odds, but you can do it. Remember David and Goliath, you can win. You need to be focused on that. But it's nice to think that people might actually support you in this internationally, globally, from around the world. There are probably a lot of very wealthy people.
Yes.
Well, there are a lot of very wealthy people that happen to watch my show. There's also a lot of very ordinary people like us that watch the show as well. But you never know, somebody with a kind heart, somebody that is feeling generous and believes in what you're doing, might just actually give you a little bit more than $5 or €5 or £5. They might actually give you a little bit more than that. And I would hope that they would, if it's in their position, if they're able to do it. I'm not asking people to, go into financial hardship, but there are a lot of people out there that are very wealthy, they're very successful, they might be in business, whatever, that might just be able to give you a bit of a leg up here. And that would be the right thing to do. And I would encourage everybody listening to this to give in, put into something, go into that link that we're going to put up here to that Give Send Go link and just give you whatever it is they can afford to give you. And even if it's a small amount collectively, that could really help you.
Yes, thank you.
But this is
Tim,
there you go.
can I say a little more on the French attorney? So,
Of course.
Virginie, so now if the case is accepted in the Supreme Court here in Finland, so then my Finnish lawyer legal team will represent me here because they have to be, in the system here and so on. But now if the Supreme Court is ruling against me, so Virginie will help in two things. She will be contacting, this is no secret, I have said it on the podcast. She will be contacting Elon Musk legal teams, PR, in Canada, people, or USA, UK, around the world, wealthy people who have visibility and influence and that we think are on the freedom side. And we will really directly just ask to give us publicity for the case, only case in the world, and then give financial help with these insane bills if they come with the confiscation office, and the fund also the European Human Rights Court filing, which will also cost money. And I want to say this to the English-speaking audience as well, that every euro, every cent, every dollar given that we will be asking back from the court, and if the judges rule that I win and the opponents, the Finnish government and Fazer Cafe, has to pay them back to me, be the money given from Finland or from abroad, I will reuse again to the basic human rights. So any money you donate, if I win, as I believe I will win, I will not use it on myself. So I want everybody to notice that you are giving into the freedom fight for a long term, not only this fight. And also in Finland, we are only asking 20,000 euro from the government and Fazer as a compensation to me about this thing. It's not like USA, you can ask 10 million. This one lady won 12 million in not taking the vaccine in against her employer. So also that money I have pledged to give away. If it's on the top of 20,000 we ask from the European Human Rights Court, so that money I will keep with good conscience. So I think everybody is okay with that. It's so big risk.
Well,
and then she will be filing the European Human Rights Court and helping with this funding side. And then I want to say this very clearly to everybody, but if this news breaks out, and I think with Jim we will do a show that Supreme Court has ruled against me, if it happens, so then I will ask people really to help donating and spreading the word out, spreading the video out as far as you can, and the many publications as we can. And we do everything we can. Right now, there is only 3,000 euro left to pay off my Finnish team, which the costs for now have been almost 80,000 euro. I have paid Switzerland, UK, Finland, my lawyer. The judges even ruled against my lawyer in Finland. He had to pay 20,000 euro. They punished him like this is insane. They are really scared we win this case at the end. But right now it's only 3,000 open there, and we wait for the Supreme Court decision. If it's in my favor, so then there is no hurry with these bills, even though there is like a 1,000 euro interest every month now going, 1,000 euro a month. But yeah, I believe we will win this case, and it's a big fight, and yeah,
just
it's
come back to the
it's
point.
fun at the same time. It's really fun, like play it all in, like it's like you are free fall from the airplane, and it's very fun at the same time.
Well, the thing is, I mean, you mentioned the fact about your solicitor that was working for you before. They tried to bully and intimidate him into not taking on your case. That's how worried these people are about the potential of the bad publicity and losing,
Yes.
because it would snowball. And this is the point that what people need that are watching this need to understand. This is potentially explosive if you win your case. It could
Yes.
blow the whole thing wide apart, and it would give future protections to any kind of nonsense like this that the governments or these sort of private corporations might try and impose again. It's time to draw a line in the sand, isn't it? But of course, there's a lot going on. There is a lot going on, Mika, in other countries as well. Now, Romania, of course, is under huge pressure right now. Kalin Georgescu, the populist candidate there, the people's choice, they used lawfare against him to prevent him going forward with the presidential elections. But thankfully, George Simeon has stood up. He's a member of the Romanian parliament, and he's making a very, very big impression, not just in Romania, but actually around the world as well. And he's battling to become the president of Romania. Now, of course, we saw some very dark things happening in Romania during the COVID lockdowns as well. There was troops on the streets with guns, with firearms. They were putting people into intensive care units, and they were chaining them to their beds so that they couldn't get out, so that they couldn't escape what was being done to them. And many loved ones saw their family members being brought into the hospital and leaving in black body bags, or bin liners, actually, this is, I think, what they were. So there's some dark things all connected into all of this. So what you're doing with your fight for freedom and for accountability is connected to many countries some of which saw horrific things happening. I spoke to an investigative journalist from Romania called Josefina Pascal. She blew the lid on a lot of this stuff. It was a very, very powerful interview. And we don't want to see that kind of situation arising again. So taking that principled stand and fighting and supporting the people who are in that fight, like you, is incredibly important for everybody else, because it takes a huge amount of effort, determination, and willpower to stay the course. What do you think? I mean, when you talked about Elon Musk, for example, I can tell you may not know this, but he does actually watch this show. And I know that he does because he's reposted some of the articles that I've put out. So there is a possibility he might actually see this interview with you and I. If Elon Musk tunes into this, what would you say to him?
Well, I can say right now, Elon, to you that if I need to launch this international campaign to help me out and fight forward, I would be very happy to have you on board, having your name, your finger, your pocket in this historic fight for freedom for Europe and the world, as this is the only case in the world of such caliber as this going on. So that would be very wonderful, and we can turn the tide in Europe. We can turn the tide in the world, that next time they do not do this again. And also I want to say this, that Elon, that I read from your tweets on X that you suffered right away after the second COVID shot or the booster, something like this, that you had a massive chest pain and you were almost getting to the hospital. So your liberty, your freedom to travel around the world, I assume, were limited, restricted if you didn't take these vaccines or the PCR test or the combination of this, how it goes. So I'm 1,000,000% sure you don't ever wanna experience the same thing again. And join me in the fight. And let's do the interview and post it online and hold the corruption and everything going on.
Well, you never know. He might very well respond to that. But even if he reposts it,
yes,
because when he reposts a tweet, it reaches multiple millions of people,
yes,
and so
yes.
that can help to even just a retweet could help to really get the word out. And
Yes.
it's the same for the people that are watching. when you repost something, it magnifies the interview by incredible amounts, and it's not uncommon for our interviews sometimes to go into multiple millions of people. Now, I don't know if that will happen this time or not, but let's hope that as many people as possible can repost this one, because this will help you, and it will help to take that fight forward for freedom and for holding those people to account for what they've done, not
And
just to you, but to many other people.
yes, and I want to say to the people in Finland a big thank you. Like, we have a very strict laws here about fundraising. So we have had 3 so-called mini fundraisers to cover up my team's costs. So all of them have come to full, and the last one came to full in just 17 days. So, but right now our NGO, We the People, is the name of that in English. So we cannot have any more mini fundraisers this year because we already have had 2 of them. They came to full. The law is limiting that mini fundraiser there. But really big thank you in Finland to everybody. And there is a list of names, a long list of names on the bank accounts. I don't know, only a handful of few of you I have never met. There are older people, there are maybe even some unemployed people, I don't know, people from many backgrounds. And I have said, if you can give €5, whatever, in this fight, give, but don't put yourself into any kind of burden by giving, but just standing up. And many pensioners are calling me and texting me, and it's many people from different folks are following, and it's very moving at the same time. And
it's amazing what the power of people collectively working together can do. I was just reminded of, you might not know this, Rupert Lowe is a member of Parliament here in the United Kingdom in Westminster. And I won't go into all the story about Mika, but there was the rape gang scandal in English cities going back over several decades. It's a big scandal. The Labour government are doing everything they can to cover it up, because I think a lot of these people are connected to them in many ways. And I think what Rupert Lowe has done is amazing, because he put a call out. He said, look, I'm a member of Parliament. I'm going to hold a national inquiry, even if this Labour government won't do it. But I'll need your help. And within literally an incredibly short space of time, the very generous Brits donated money to this particular cause to hold a national inquiry. And I think it's approached 500,000 so far. So it just goes to show the collective power of people. Now, I would imagine there would be probably very wealthy people maybe gave a lot of money to it, but there would have also been a lot of people that gave what they could. They gave what they could afford to give. And that's the key to this. Just giving what you can afford, because you're in the thick of it and you're fighting the good fight and you are not backing down. You're going to go for this. And of course, if you win, and there's a high possibility that you might, it's going to blow this whole globalist thing right apart, and they'll be stopped from ever trying to do something so draconian.
Yeah, and even though this is like a civil action lawsuit, this is not a criminal case against the government and Fazer Cafe, because the criminal part would have been way more lengthy and unlikely, because the police is also corrupt here. My friend made an inquiry to the Central Police of Finland and study what is in the vaccines to the Finnish Central Police, and they didn't know anything, and all these kind of things. But yeah, and it is when we now suing them for the Covidpass, we are hitting the eye of the bull right there, because that was the symbol of freedom. That was the tool of freedom. That was the tool of back to normal. And Klaus Schwab, WEF ex-chairman, was saying that until everybody is vaccinated, nobody is safe. And Bill Gates was wishing to vaccinate the whole world and all that stuff. And this application was the symbol of that. So we're hitting right there with this thing.
I think you're over the target. Of course, when you're over the target, that's when the flak is at its most intense. And I think you are. I think that they're worried. That's why they attacked your previous attorney, to try to frighten him into not representing you. And I think that when you see things like that, they're showing their hand. They're worried. They're worried about what might be found out. They're worried. And that's all the more reason when you've got them on the run, as it were, you press forward with the attack. But you need resources. You need a little bit of help financially to get to you to where it needs to go. So once again, I very much hope that people will be generous and will give a little bit of cash to you.
Yeah,
Let's talk about.
Jim, can I say this? That think about, have you personally ever heard of any company in the world, UK, Europe, US, wherever, that a customer is coming to buy something, it's fully healthy, and then there comes the dispute to the court, and then this company is a €1 billion company and they still want to invoice 17,000 euro for their legal fees, defending the thing that their want-to-be customer was kicked out by them. Have you ever heard about such a company?
Well, no, and it just goes to show how complicit they all are, and how pretty mean and wicked these people actually are. So it says everything you need to know about them.
Yes, yes,
But
yes.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. But things are changing. There is things changing. We've got Robert Kennedy now, RFK's in to head up the health service in America. He's part of Donald Trump's administration now. The uncovering of a lot of fraud, a lot of corruption is ongoing. There was a lot of globalist entities like the World Economic Forum, like Bill Gates, like George Soros, that were getting hundreds of millions, probably billions if you add it all up together, to use against freedom and to use against national sovereign governments like Viktor Orban in Hungary and others. And in fact, George Soros and his NGOs are coming under much, much greater scrutiny now. There is a bit of I think it's just a rumor at this point, but Elon Musk recently tweeted about his, the Tesla dealerships being put under pressure by these far left agitators and paid protesters. And he was talking about there's no point going after the activists so much. Yes, of course, if they do something and they break the law, we're going to throw the book at them. But he's talking about the generals. He's talking about the Bill Gates. He's talking about the George Soroses. He's talking about the Clintons. He's talking about these people that fund to the tunes of hundreds of millions of dollars or euros to cause destabilization. Do you think that what Trump is doing in America has enough appeal to almost form a bit of a movement internationally where people that support him, people that appreciate his administration and do what they're doing, would want to see that kind of scrutiny? For example, can you imagine if there was a situation where scrutiny was applied to the Finnish government, where they're spending their money, who gets what? What do you think would happen if the books were opened in Finland and everybody, like a member of the Doge team in there, what do you think they might uncover? Any ideas?
It may cover a lot of things. Finland the leadership is sold out to the globalist agenda 100%. But let me tell you, Finland joined NATO roughly 2 years ago. I would support Finland being neutral. But then if you read the international news when our president, they said, hey, the will of the people changed. Okay. The thing is, this is in the Finnish news. There is a company called Kantar. It's an international media company, and they make these surveys, these interviews with people like, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? And they were interviewing, I remember, 1,000 people in Finland about NATO, Finland joining NATO. They didn't, they haven't published like the more detailed specific data of that interview, but based on that, the Finnish government and the media said, hey, the population is now ready for NATO. There was no real debate. There was no real thing. And US aid, this money from US, I think I saw this news in the Finnish on the Finnish X. Kantar, this media company, was getting this USA aid money.
So
Voila!
you can see how it's all connected into it, can't you? And of course, that was American taxpayers' dollars that were being used to fund these things that they would never have normally gone along with. But they did
Yeah.
it. They did it behind the scenes. Yeah, there's a lot of people who are very wealthy off the American taxpayers, and thanks to Elon Musk and Donald Trump and his team, that is now coming to a crushing end. We're approaching the end of the segment here. I've got to say that the time has just flown in, Mika, as usual. But as I always do with my great guests, I always give people the opportunity to have the final word. And I'm going to do that with you again as well. So for the next 2 or 3 minutes, say whatever's on your heart to say.
Yeah, I want to encourage everybody. There are many people watching this. As Jim, you have over 300,000 followers on X. So many of you, I assume, I believe, are on the crossroads in your life. Like, what big steps of destiny you are considering maybe taking. Okay, so many of them may be risky, but they may be worthy. So don't let the fear keep you, keep you back, but just step out. And I have had to go in my mind, in my heart, in my spirit, many things through, going over 3 years of this legal fight already. There are moments I have felt burdened, tired, and I have really felt the pressure as well. There are moments of those. But I still just keep on going forward, and there is power coming. For me, it's Jesus Christ, the Lord. But I want to encourage everybody for the good things you understand you can do for humanity or in life, just to step out. And some people will hate you, some will love you, some will mock you. All kind of things will happen, but you feel alive, you feel good, and this is the word I wanna say.
Powerful words indeed, Mika. Powerful words, and thank you for taking time to come on to give us this update. It's been a fascinating talking to you, as it always is. As I say, I've always admired the work that you do, and the fact that you are a pretty courageous kind of guy. You're one of a kind, I would say, and I really want to say thank you to you for coming on and sharing this with all of us. And I hope to hear from you again soon. To get a further update and to hear from you. But thank you so much indeed, Mika.
Thank you, Fergie.
And thank you to all of the wonderful people out there as well. You know, I really do appreciate what you guys do. I never set out to do any of the things I'm doing now. I've come from a very different background, but you know something? I do appreciate what you do. I appreciate the likes and the shares. I appreciate the comments. I do try and reply to them, as many of them as I possibly can. But here we've got a brave, courageous guy, Mika Vauhkala, and he is a Finnish patriot. He's a freedom fighter. He's fighting for all of us. Just remember that. His fight is our fight. So if you can afford to give him something, please do. It would be very much appreciated. And God bless you, Mika. Look after yourself. Until next time. This is Jim Ferguson. We'll speak soon. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you.